I want to go somewhere where there's beautiful women, cold beer, beautiful beaches, and somewhere where it's cheap and I can have a good time. It's like, Dominican Republic checks all 5 boxes. So he said, man, let's go.
All right, so today we are in one of my favorite cigar bars. Y'all already know we're in Fusions. Fusions here in Bella Vista, and I'm here with a supporter of the channel. His name is Thomas. So he and I met probably about a month ago or something like that. Yeah. So it was, actually he sent me a message maybe about 2 or 3 months ago, informing me that he would be in Santo Domingo in June when his kids got out of school. You know, in the message he told me he had, a wife, his 2 kids, and that, they were coming to Santo Domingo and his wife was Dominican. So typically for me, man, when people reach out to me, I really have no idea of, who I'm gonna meet sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes they have a picture on their avatar, sometimes they don't. So sometimes, a lot of times I'm kind of like wondering what the interaction is gonna be like, when we actually, meet. And when he got here, he hit me up and we met, matter of fact, we met here at Fusion. It was during the playoff time. We was watching the game. So, and typically I'm intrigued, or not intrigued, I would say I'm more curious when I meet subscribers who are married and have a Dominican wife, and then the kids also as a plus. But the reason I'm curious is because I like to know or understand how it all came together, because that's pretty much the situation I'm in. So during our conversation, he was telling me about, his career path, or his career, and he was a pilot. So at that point I got intrigued myself too, because as scared as I am of planes, this guy jumped on a plane like he just jumping in a car and going to the grocery store, and it doesn't mean anything to him. Nothing. And so, I had questions, so that intrigued me. So today we're gonna talk about him being a pilot, and also, how did he become interested and curious about the Dominican Republic? When did he first, and I don't want to use the word fall in love, because, people take that out of context, but when did he develop a love for Dominican Republic? Right. But before we get into all that, can you just introduce yourself and let us know where you're from?
Absolutely. First of all, thank you for having me.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Thanks for connecting. My name is Thomas, from Los Angeles, California. Captain for a major airline as a pilot. Been a pilot for 22 years. Wife, 2 children, and we live here in Santo Domingo part-time, part of the year, the entire summer, and one of the best times of the year, Christmas and New Year's, is probably the best time to be in the country. And so we spend a lot of time here in the country.
So before we continue, I just want to piggyback on some of the things, one of the things I said, or my monologue in the beginning is, one of the reasons I wanted to do this particular interview with Thomas is because you don't see a lot of us down here that are married and have kids and just building a life down here. Typically you get the single guy and that type of stuff, and there be in other areas of the country, which is nothing wrong with that. Fine, they can do what they do, but I'm always curious and intrigued by people who are like yourself and myself, who are here with the family. And the reason why is because it seemed like I was almost the only person here that was married, and people used to say to me like, oh, you just got, you got lucky, or you got a unicorn. And what I want to do is I want to dispel that myth, because I'm not the only one here, and since then you've seen people like Jerry and Shayla living abroad. You've seen people like Love, Purpose, and Passports, him and his wife. Also, you got Jamie Gruber and his wife down here. You got John from Dominican Route and his wife. There are many people, I won't say a lot, but there are many people here who come here and have that particular lifestyle where they live a normal life, and it doesn't have to be this party all type thing. You know what I'm saying? Like chasing skirts and things like that. You can get up and do normal things daily. So
well, you can still party.
Well, yeah, you can still party, right?
Party with your family, party with your wife.
Which is right,
Yeah.
right, exactly. And you know, I kind of thought that when I was thinking, 'cause we still
I
party,
party. Yeah, I
and we're gonna
party.
get to that too
Yeah.
later on. So before we get into the Dominican stuff, as a pilot, and you said you was a captain,
Yeah.
is it? That's the highest level.
Yeah, so there are two pilots in the airplane. There's the captain and the co-pilot.
Okay.
The captain has the ultimate authority over everything that happens with the operation of the airplane. Is responsible for the airplane, the crew, the passengers, and the cargo. So
Got
it
it.
all falls on his shoulder. The co-pilot is there to assist him and also fly the airplane. So both pilots fly the airplane. The ultimate authority rests upon the captain. Both roles are equal in their importance.
Right.
Nobody is smarter or superior to the other. The only difference is the ultimate authority falls on the shoulders of the captain. So that's
Okay.
why he's got the 4 stripes. The co-pilot has the 3 stripes.
So why'd you get into that?
And into aviation.
Yeah, why you get in aviation?
It's a great question. So I have always wanted to be a pilot since I was a little boy. It's kind of one of those little childhood dreams. You see an airplane and you say, you know what, that's what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. And when I was in high school, you have a decision to make. It's like either you go the direction of your friends and you drink and smoke and straight West Coasting, whatever they're doing, or you decide I'm going to do something that's going to set me up for the rest of my life and follow my dream and my passion, and be able to have the world at my fingertips and go to work every day doing something that I love to do and am passionate about. So I said, all right, y'all go do what you do. I'm going to the airport and taking flying lessons, and that's what I did and stuck with it.
Right. And it's funny because when you and I spoke the first time about this, I could just tell your passion of flying. Like you really love it. I mean, anybody that gets into that, what, 19?
I got into it. I took my first flying lesson when I was 13.
When you fly, yeah, you gotta love it, man.
You
I
gotta
mean,
love it, yeah.
that's like when you hear, basketball players when they touch their first ball at 11.
They knew it.
They knew it. So yeah, you took your first flying lesson at 13.
13.
That's crazy.
13.
That's crazy.
My mom gave it to me for getting good grades, and after I got up there, I was like, oh, this is everything I thought it was. Don't talk to me about doing anything else. This is what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life.
So what is it like your schedule?
My schedule changes every month, so we have to bid for our schedules a month prior. So you get your schedule based off your seniority. So the more senior you are, the better schedules you get. You can hold the holidays off, the weekends off. The more junior you are, you get, kind of what's left over. You get the trash. You're working on all the weekends and all that, all that kind of stuff. But I typically get anywhere from 14 to 20 days off a month, depending on how much I want to work. And then I'm usually gone anywhere
20 days off.
Yeah, 14 to 20 days off a month. So, and I'm gone anywhere from 2 days up to 6 or 7 days at a time. It all depends on how much you want to work.
But that comes with your seniority, where you being off 14 to 20 days. Or
No, like 14, 15 days is standard.
It's standard, okay.
But if you don't want to work, you can drop trips. You can get rid of, some of your trips.
Gotcha.
And you can say, you know what, I'm only going to work 10 days this month. You ain't going to make a lot of money or as much money as you want to make, but you can have the time off you want.
Gotcha. So what's the starting salary for a pilot? Like a starting salary?
Oh, that's a great question. It depends because there's different, areas of aviation. There's corporate aviation where you're flying corporate jets. There's the regional airlines, which are the feeder airlines, the smaller jets and planes that connect you to the major airports, and then the major airlines take you to where you want to go, and then there's the major airlines. But because of where we are in the industry and the rate of retirements and the demand right now that there is for pilots, the starting salary for a first officer is probably $100,000. That's the starting salary.
A starting salary, $100,000.
Yeah.
Now, how long does it take for you to the average time for someone to be a trained pilot and can get in their plane?
Well, it depends on what you mean by train. Train to do what? Train as a commercial pilot, for an airline, train as a corporate pilot?
Let's talk about commercial, since that's what you do.
It's going to take you about 4 to 5 years from start to your first day in the right seat. About 4 or 5 years.
About 4 or 5 years. So for 4 or 5 years, you can start at $100,000.
Yeah.
In 4 or 5 years. Okay. And would you recommend anybody? Would you recommend people being pilot nowadays?
1,000%. with all respect to all the other professions that are very necessary and very essential in what we do here, what we do in America, everywhere in the world, for me, or like they say here in the Dominican Republic, para mí,
Yeah.
para mí,
Yeah.
is the best profession in the world. The best quality of life for me, best quality of life for my family, best benefits, and just the passion for what I do. Para mí, es lo mejor.
Yeah, that's probably one thing we're gonna disagree on.
Respectfully.
Yeah. I mean, quality of life, you do have that, yeah. But the best profession, that's the one we probably gonna disagree on.
Okay. What was the best profession?
I don't know. It ain't 40,000 feet in the air. That's the
Well, sure. Autopilot cruise looking out the window, man. Keep it back, man. Shoot.
Man, so a couple of questions I asked him when we first met, man, I was like, what is this turbulence? Would the plane get knocked out of the air because of turbulence? And your response to me, you said, I asked you to explain. You said, have I ever hit a speed bump? And that's all turbulence is. It's just a speed bump in the air.
That's all it is. It's just rough air, unstable air, high in the sky. It happens at all altitudes. And there are a lot of factors that determine how big or how unstable the air is. That's all we're doing. We're flying at 500 miles an hour, and we just hit some unstable air. It's just like a speed bump. You know, whenever you drive over a speed bump with your car, you don't lose control of the car. The car doesn't crash. You know, you just keep on going. You say, "Oh, I felt that." You keep on going. It's the exact same thing. They're just speed bumps in the air.
Okay. All right. And
I sleep through it now. Like, oh, turbulence. Not while I'm flying. Like as a passenger. Context.
Yeah.
As a passenger.
right. And you also asked him, does lightning strike planes? And you said all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that made me nervous when you said that.
Should.
But why when lightning strikes a plane, it doesn't do anything?
The airplane is certified by the FAA, Federal Aviation Administration, to be able to handle lightning strikes. The paint that the airplane is painted in is designed to be able to disperse the energy that's ingested by a lightning strike. So it's going to hit the airplane and it's going to exit somewhere, but the paint and the design of the airplane is designed to disperse the energy from a lightning strike.
Yeah.
So if we land and we do our post-flight inspection and we see that we've been struck by lightning, or we notice that we've been struck by lightning in flight, we just call the mechanics. They're going to do their inspections to make sure that everything is structurally sound, that all the systems are normal, and then when they certify that it's airworthy again, it goes back up. But it's designed to be able to withstand that, because we fly in conditions where there's lightning. Yeah.
What do you think is, and I won't say worst, but what do you think the lowest tier airline?
The lowest tier airline?
Yeah.
Well, you define tier. What do you mean by tier?
I mean, I consider Delta a top tier airline.
Yeah.
When I start looking at things like Spirit and Frontier, see, I'm answering it for him. I'm answering it for him.
Yeah.
I consider those a little bit low tier.
Well, I would say that they have a different business model. They don't provide the level of service and the quality of service that Delta Airlines provides, because, you know, they're catering to a different type of customer who's now looking for the thrills, and you know, they're looking for the luxury service. You know, it's the difference between going to Starbucks to get your coffee and going to, you know, going to 7-Eleven to get your coffee.
Right.
So Delta prides itself on being, you know, one of the preferred airlines. You know, kind of like Apple, you know, prides itself on being the preferred electronics provider.
Right.
Or Starbucks prides itself on being the preferred coffee and beverage provider. And you pay a premium for that because you get consistency. You're paying for consistency. You're paying for service. And that's why Delta is one of the, I think, like the top 50 best places to work, because they compensate their employees because they want the best from you, so you can provide the best for their customers. And because you provide the best for their customers, they can charge a premium.
Right.
And people pay the premium.
Right. And you told me there was a percentage.
I think that they charge an extra 12 to 14% more
than other airlines.
Because consistency.
They give you those good cookies and peanuts and.
You're going to get the best snacks, but you're also going to get there on time. You're probably, for the most part, you're going to leave on time. I mean, they have one of the best on-time performance records in the industry. So you get that top-notch service.
Okay.
That's why business travelers love it, because when you got to get somewhere, you got to get somewhere on time. You want to trust Delta, you're going to trust Spirit.
I plead the fifth. Delta, definitely.
And much respect to everybody at Spirit, because I know some great people at Spirit. They're great employees, and it's a great airline, different business model.
Obviously, because I ain't never seen no people fighting at the Delta ticket counter, but they always fighting at the Spirit ticket counter.
And definitely ain't fighting on my airplane, because if you are, pa fuera.
So the last thing I'm gonna ask you, because they're gonna I want to get into the Dominican stuff, but this stuff is interesting. I love it. I think they're gonna enjoy it too. But what I want to know is why, and you told me this anyway, but I wanted you to tell me, why do airlines overbook their seats?
That's a great question. Airlines overbook their seat because they have historical data of people not showing up, right? So they know over the past X amount of years, take a flight to the Dominican Republic, right? We know that on the 6 a.m. Santo Domingo flight, 10% of the people either don't show up or they get stuck in security because they don't realize how long that security line is, and they're gonna miss that flight. So if
And this is what airport?
any airport, well, let's say JFK, right?
Because I know you specifically meant New York last time.
Yeah, New York, New York and Atlanta, right?
Right.
That anybody who travels from Atlanta knows that security line in the morning is two-hour wait, right? A lot of people don't know that, right? So you show up an hour prior, hour and a half prior, you're not making your flight. Well, Delta or all the airlines have the data saying, hey, we know 10% of the people don't show up for this flight. So if 10% of the people don't show up for this flight, or they don't show up on time, then we're going to overbook it by 10%, so we can make sure the flight goes out full.
Gotcha. It makes better sense, man. Because every time I go to check in, it's saying, if you want to, you can stand by for the next flight if it's overbooked and get this voucher. But I always, me personally, I always want to get on my flight.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
The cold part is when everybody does show up and then they got 10% overbooked,
Right.
and then people standing there like,
I got my ticket.
I got my ticket. I ain't getting off until they start offering that money. Until they start 1,000.
Now you go to 1,000, I'm getting off.
Oh, you getting off?
I'm getting off for 1,000.
Oh, well then you should have waited for 2,000.
Oh, well, I'm gonna wait till 2,000. You seen 2,000?
I saw the other day in the airport, man, they left 10 people behind, 2,000 a pop.
I'm gonna hang out with the 2,000 then.
Oh, then you gonna miss 5,000.
You done seen that?
I done seen 5,000 too.
Shit, I need to do the 5,000. We can get my family over to
man,
Dubai.
Don't be greedy, man.
Yeah.
Don't be greedy.
Your aviation experience or your journey doing aviation connected you to DR.
Absolutely.
So how did that connect you to DR? And reason it's intriguing because his story is it's kind of almost similar to mine, and I like it, and I don't want you to tell that story. But I wasn't a pilot.
Yeah. Right. So my first airline job was flying for American Eagle, which was a commuter airline. Still is a commuter airline. They just changed the name. The commuter airline for American Airlines. I was 22 years old, and when I got my first assignment, they assigned me to the ATR-72, which is a type of airplane, turboprop, in San Juan, Puerto Rico. So
Yalo.
I was like, San Juan? That's a long way from LA. Now the other guys in my class who got San Juan, they were upset. They're like, Puerto Rico? I don't want to go to Puerto Rico. Man, that's too far away. It's undeveloped over there. They are kind of this, are kind of that. So they did not want to be somewhere that was not the continental United States. But I started thinking, like, hold up. Island, Caribbean. I'm gonna be flying to all the islands. My overnight's gonna be in all-inclusive resorts. Bye-bye, LA. Deuces, let's go. So I was excited, and when I got there, I discovered something about the Caribbean that I'd never known before. I mean, say I just had a bad history teacher or just wasn't taught in school, but I did not know that there were people that looked like me, that spoke other languages, that were, native to these other countries that were so close to America. I was just never taught that. So when I touched down in Puerto Rico and I saw Black people speaking Spanish, and I felt the vibe, and I tasted the food, and I saw the culture, and I listened to the music, I was like, oh, I like this. I like this. Nobody told me about this. So I just fell in love with it. I started flying back and forth from San Juan to the Dominican Republic, but I wouldn't stay for more than 12, 13 hours because you turn around and go right back. But then one day, this is where the love came in. Is my brother came back for R&R from the war in Iraq, and he had like a 2-week break, and he hit me up. He said, "Man, I want to go somewhere where there's beautiful women, cold beer, beautiful beaches, and somewhere where it's cheap and I can have a good time." It's like, Dominican Republic checks all 5 boxes. So he said, "Man, let's go." So we went down to Punta Cana, and we had the time of our life, where I just saw the country completely different. And I said, wow. We even left the resort and we went into the pueblos, and we started meeting the people. And then I met this girl that worked at the resort. And when we left, I just left. I remember like taking off and just looking back at the island like, I gotta come back. Like just something connected, the frequency just connected. So I came right back. I went, worked for 4 days, came right back. And started taking the bus out to the little pueblos and stuff and started talking to people. Didn't speak any Spanish. I was hanging out in Higüey. For those of you who know Dominican Republic, I was hanging out in Higüey. And, started dating a little girl down there, and I was like, well, we got this communication barrier, so I guess I better learn some Spanish, because wait a minute, they come to America and they learn English fluently. Why can't I learn Spanish fluently? So one thing developed into another, and the more I learned about the country, the more I fell in love with it. It's just got my vibe. It kind of flows how I feel life should flow. Nothing's taken too serious. Everything is a party. Everything's about enjoying yourself. It's like, hey, why are you making a big deal of something? Hey, there's no parking. Well, let's park the wrong direction on the concrete, all on the grass. Like, let's make a parking space, And the more I learned about the country, and the more I learned about the culture, I just kind of identify with it. I'm kind of being over-regulated, and everything just being so tight up there. It's just so much pressure. And then when you come down here, the moment you step off the plane, you feel like, God, I'm just free. I can breathe. I can actually relax.
Yeah, people they don't understand when you say that. Yeah. They really don't understand the tension that comes off your shoulder when you hit the country.
Oh man.
I'm not worrying about the same stuff that I worry about in the United States, man. It's just, like you say, parking, there's no parking spot. Okay, but just parking.
Just make a parking spot, yeah.
Just small things like that where you don't have to, it's just a relaxing feeling. You know what I'm saying? I always tell people, you can pretty much do whatever you want here as long as you're not breaking the law.
Don't kill anybody.
And then don't kill anybody. Don't mess with, don't hit on women, and don't mess with kids.
Don't
do drugs.
Those are like the 3 unforgivable things.
4. Drugs, hitting women, messing with kids, and killing. Right. You don't do those, man, you can almost do pretty much anything here in the Dominican Republic. They'll forgive you for most of the stuff.
Back in LA, man, like I can't speak for anywhere else in America, but if you turn up your music too loud, man, whoop-de-whoops is coming. Someone's gonna be knocking on your door telling you to turn it down.
Right.
Here, you got the music too loud, the whole neighborhood comes out to join you. Neighbors is like, oh, y'all have the party? I'm coming over, so. Right.
I know people are gonna ask, well, how did you meet your wife?
Great question. So I met my wife actually in Los Angeles, but what connected us was my second experience with the country, because during 2008, after the economy crashed, nobody was flying. So I was flying for the airlines at the time, and the airline didn't want to furlough, but they didn't want to let people go. So they said, hey, anybody who wants to take a leave of absence, take it. So me and my buddy, we found this job flying airplanes for this airline in the Caribbean called Air Turks and Caicos. And we went down, we took a leave of absence, and we went down there and we had a ball. I was back in the Caribbean, right?
Okay.
And every day we were flying from Turks and Caicos to the Dominican Republic and Haiti, daily, back and forth. So I was coming back to the Dominican Republic, and on my days off, I was hopping back down to the island, driving around, catching the bus, going to explore the country. And I was practicing my Spanish, getting it, just tight, because I was talking to everybody in Spanish. I was even talking to the air traffic controllers in Spanish. So when I went back to LA, I wanted to keep my Spanish going, because I'm like, no, I'm really learning. I'm really starting to flow. I'm really starting to be able to converse with people and really starting to be able to make the moves I want to make. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna swap out my church. I'm gonna stop going to English church or Baptist church. I'm gonna go to Spanish church.
Right.
So I found the Spanish church, And I started going there. And so it was full of people from Central America, right? But of all these people from Central America, there was one black girl there. So I went up to her like, hey, dime, ¿qué lo que? She's like, ¿qué lo que? She's like, where you from? I was like, well, I'm from here. Where you from? She's like, well, I'm from Dominican Republic. It's like, oh, I know all about your country. She's like, what do you know about my country? You know, in her thick accent back then. I was like, oh, let me tell you about this. Let me tell you about the flat. Let me tell you about the salsa. Let me tell you about the bachata. Let me tell you about. And so she was like shocked. I was like, all right, let's go out to Santa Monica tonight. Let's go get something to eat. And here we are 15 years later with 2 kids.
Heard that? Yeah. He met his wife 15 years ago, and to this day, he's still married to her. Kind of like me, that's why I say the story is similar almost, because you met her in the States and not here.
In the States and she teased me about that all the time. She said, you know, there's this misconception that, you know, Dominicans just want to marry American men because they want a visa. And she's like, you actually married me for my visa. You know? So I'm hooking you up with your citizenship. You ain't hooking me up with citizenship. She's like, oh, it's the reverse with us. I'm like, I can't even deny that.
Yeah, he'll sink you.
Mange me visa.
So, all right, so we talked about how you got here. I mean, you developed your love for the country, how you met your wife. So now that you have been coming here, obviously, for last 15 years because you married her family's still here, right?
Right.
And
Mommy and Papi's still here.
So they're still here. They're in Santo Domingo Este. So y'all out in Santo Domingo Este. So now you're saying, okay, I like this country. What kind of are you looking to invest, or you got some things going on?
We bought a house here a couple years ago, and we're in the process of rebuilding it because our plan is to retire here. You know. My wife wants to move, as you know.
Yeah.
She wants to move back.
Now.
She wanted to move back as of 3 years ago. You know, but I'm the one kind of slowing her down on that. You know, reining her in a little bit. But for sure, when the kids graduate high school and they're off on their own, you want to come hang out with Mommy and Papi? You got to come here.
Yeah.
So the plan is definitely to retire here.
Okay. So the house you got in Santo Domingo Este. I think you was telling me that you bought a house and then you demoed.
Yeah, we bought a house, we demolished it, and then we're rebuilding it.
Rebuilding it up.
Because one of the things we found out is that, you know, we're just extremely happy here. During COVID, when everything was shut down, we came here for four or 5 months. You know, it was during Black Lives Matter was going on, George Floyd, people was rioting, everything was locked down, especially in California, everything was locked down. I wasn't flying because the airline was only running 25% of the schedule. I just had it with America. I'm like, this is depressing.
Right.
I'm out of here. So we caught the first flight to the Dominican Republic, and for 4 months, we probably have never been happier in our entire life. We were quarantining on the beach in Samaná with nobody around, eating lobster and fish for $10. Kids were swimming in the river. Every day we just find a new beach and a new sunset. And that's when we realized, like, we got one life to live, man. Like, why are we just slaving away up there and we have no happiness to show for it?
Right.
So that following year, we took everything we had and we bought a house, right down the street from Mommy and Papi. And then everything just started to take off. I mean, but Jay, it was crazy, man, because they had the quarantine going on, so you had to be home by 4 o'clock, so we had to do everything. And then we were partying with Mommy and Papi, drinking beer and everything, playing parcheesi. You know, some people play spades, some people play dominoes.
Right.
Our family plays parcheesi. We would have parcheesi wars all day, just bottles of Presidente and Brahma, and we were just going at it all day, just eating food, ordering chicken wings, and then the police would come. People would be partying on the comados and everything, right? And the police would come and clear out the comados. Everybody go running, right? Police would leave.
And you come back out.
Everybody come back and just fill up the comados again. It was the most hilarious thing, but it was like, you know what? That's how you live life.
Right.
That's how you live life.
And I know you were telling me, well, you sent me some video where you were out there at the Comado with your father-in-law.
Papi.
And Papi.
That's my dog.
And this guy's 75?
75.
And he said he partied hard.
Papi parties harder.
Yeah. I hadn't had a chance to party with Papi and them. When you come back, because you're leaving tomorrow.
Yeah, leaving tomorrow.
Leaving tomorrow.
Yeah,
so.
we was at La Tablita last night with Papi and Tio Alfred. Like, all the whole family. Like I said, like we party together.
Right.
Poppy was out, and Sex Appeal was there last night.
Who is that?
You know Sex Appeal? Salsa singer?
I ain't never heard of her.
Ask your viewers about Sex Appeal. Sex Appeal came to Los Minas. Barrio.
If y'all know about Sex Appeal, I don't think they know about Sex Appeal.
Tell them about Sex
Well,
Appeal.
some of them, because I got
Tell them about Sex
Dominican.
Appeal.
Yeah, I got
Tell them
Dominican
about Sex
viewers.
Appeal.
I know they know. Yeah.
So Sex Appeal came to Los Minas last night at La Tablita, which is like a huge Comado park just for salsa lovers, right? It gets packed. He was there to give a free concert, did like 7 songs.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna ask my wife about that. That's why. And you said when you sent that video, you said, "Man, I'd had more fun in the 3 days I've been here than the last 6 months."
I do more in 1 day here than I do in 6 months here. Because, bro, it's like it's a routine, man. You go to work, you come home, you gotta deal with the kids, you gotta take them to school, you gotta do homework, you gotta do activities, you gotta find time, you gotta make time for your wife. Then you gotta wake up and pay the bills and then go back to work, and you gotta do that stuff over and over and over and over and over. When are you enjoying life?
Right.
So that's why, man, like you said, when the kids got out of school, we came down. Nah, we pulled the kids out of school early. It's like,
Right.
I had enough. And we got on the first plane smoking to Santa. I think we put them out like 4 days early. It was like, forget this.
People think that because they see other type of videos being made, that they think that living in Dominican Republic is one way, and it's more like it's scams, it's pay for play, it's corruption. Police always try to do that, and not saying none of that stuff doesn't exist,
It's down
but it's not 20.
It's not endemic, like
Right,
Yeah.
It's
Nah.
that you can live a regular life here.
Regular life. I'm gonna take let's do this. I'm gonna take them through a day in the life of Tomas. Because down here I'm Tomas, I'm not Thomas. I'm Tomas. A day in the life of Tomas, and you take them through a day in the life of Jay. So
Yeah.
a day in the life for me down here in the summer is I wake up, get the kids ready, mommy or my wife make me a cup of coffee, which I love. I mean, them girls can make a good glass of water, man. Like,
Good glass of water.
So have breakfast as a family, take the kids to summer camp. Me and Poppy go run around, do something at the house, come back, eat lunch, or pick up the kids from summer camp, eat lunch as a family. Then take the kids to the park or Pizza Alley or something like that, let them play, go take them to Mega Central. Come back, call the babysitter, because we going out. And then Poppy will say, we're going here tonight, so get ready. So, you gotta take a bath, you gotta put on your clothes, your best or your nice clothes. And we'll end up in some barrio because he's the king of all the barrios, right? We'll end up in some barrio, we have some rum, listen to some salsa on the corner, then go back to the house. Then my wife will come back from doing something with mommy, and then she's like, okay, we're going to this salsa spot tonight. Then we'll head over there, and then somebody will call one of her friends or one of her brothers, say, hey, where are you at? Oh, we're over here. I'm on the way. And then before you know it, like everybody family, friends, you're meeting up in Aguila or some spot where they're having a party, and then you stumble back in 12, 1 o'clock, and you wake up and do it again. This is like every day. Right? Or Jay will call you up and say, hey man, I'm hanging out in Bonao, you want to come? Bet. Throw the kids in the car, drive up to Bonao, go to the river, go to waterfalls. Next day come back, end up in another salsa club.
Right. I think the day you got back, you was back on the streets.
You got back, and Poppy said, "Vámonos." And we ended up somewhere. We ended up 2 or 3 spots. That's what I love. It's just always something to do. It's fulfilling to do it with the people you love. Like that's one of the things I liked about hooking up with Jay is like it's all about family. We're not out here, doing any debauchery. We're about building memories, making new friends, having great experiences, and just doing wholesome things, enjoying life to the fullest.
Right. I'm just glad that I'm able to come in contact with good brothers like this. Like you say, man, when we knew we were going to Bonao, I called them up, hey man, you want to go Bonao? Bet, I'll be there. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it's about, man. Connecting, networking, building friendships, and you know what I'm saying? And just enjoying life, and that's what we do.
And that weekend was one of the most memorable weekends of us down here, because we got to meet your wife and your kids. Our kids played together, got the swimming pool, we got on the grill. We were able to, share stories and compare stories about how we, developed our love for the country. And then we went to a river and some waterfalls that were absolutely beautiful. Los Saltos de
Hima.
Hima. And then we linked up with Jay at another river, and then we were just hanging out, just drinking in the river. Then it started to rain, and we had to get out because we didn't want to get caught in flash flood. But
right.
Can I say something before you end it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah. So, I started following Jay because, you know, it was that time of the year where we get sick of America. Right around the beginning of May, and you know how I know it, man? Because around the beginning of May, it's like towards the end of the school year, and me and my wife, we just start like beefing about stupid stuff. And it's like, wait a minute, what are we really mad about? Because we're tired, and we're just tired from the routine. It's time to go. And as soon as we touch down here, it's like a reset button.
Right.
And right in the middle, about the first or second week of May, I was just ironing my clothes, doing something, and I was watching YouTube on the TV, and Jay's video, you know, Jay's channel popped up. I was like, oh, this brother's down here doing that? I gotta meet this guy, you know, because we have similar lifestyles going on. So what I want to say to your viewers is just like I met Jay, I also met Jerry, I also met, you know, a couple other brothers who are down there. What I've learned through Jay is that there are a lot of expats down here living the same thing. I was surprised at how many people are actually down here, actually living regular lives that have moved down here full time.
Yeah.
You know, just left America completely. I'm in between. You know, I like to call it the best of both worlds.
Right.
But there are a lot of brothers, and not just brothers, a lot of people in general,
Right.
Who have just left America and made the move, and they're thriving.
Right.
Thriving and happier than ever.
Yep.
Happier than ever. I know it's not the right time, it may not be the right move for everybody, but for anybody that's on the fence or anybody that's thinking about it, reach out to Jay, and I'll be a support system. But I guarantee you'll find a lot to be grateful for and happy about down here in the Dominican Republic.
Yeah, and I like the point you made that it's not for everybody. But if you're on the fence, and these are the people I talk to, my message is for is people who are on the fence. You know, people who are not on the fence, then, you know, and not looking to do anything, that's fine. I mean, if you like the entertainment of it, fine, watch it. But if you're on the fence and you kind of want to, hey, is this the right place for me to go? Hey, we want to be able to show that this is, you know, it may be for you. You know, come down, check it out. If it ain't for you, you know, buy your ticket, head back. But for a lot of brothers, or a lot of people here, it is the right place for them.
Yeah, yeah. Give me your top 3 favorite things about the Dominican Republic.
Man, that's a hard question. Somebody asked me the other day, I was out with another content creator, and we was at the Camaro, and the girl asked me, say, what do you like about Dominican Republic? And it was just so hard. I kind of really just froze because I can't think of one thing.
Top 3.
The people, the culture. And when I say the culture, you know, people say, oh, you always say culture, what is culture? Culture is just how they are, being family oriented, the community feel of it, you know, their culture. You know, off the top of my mind, I say the food. But it may change if I go and really give some thought about it. But I know culture and the people are definitely the top.
Okay.
Yeah.
For me, number 1 is I don't want to attribute this to, it's not maybe culture, maybe it is cultural, but it's the relaxed attitude of the people.
Yeah.
There's just no pressure to do anything.
Right.
Even when I feel like there should be more pressure. You should be under some more pressure. I'm like, no, I'm gonna do this when I want to do it.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And coming from America, like that's frustrating sometimes.
Right.
Like, sometimes it's frustrating, but
Right.
for the majority of the time, it's like it's refreshing because the pressure to perform is just relieved.
And then it makes you relax.
It's like for the first time I can breathe because everything in America is deadlines, on time, done. Here it's like, number 2 for me is the music. You know, through my family, I've developed like a love for salsa because, you know, my family, they love salsa, but like they love salsa to where they're salsa encyclopedias.
Okay.
You know, they hear a song, they say, this is the singer, this is the orchestra, this is the album, this is the year, and this is what was going on. Like they know everything, and they kind of taught me the science of salsa. It's kind of like that cigar, you know, like they're cigar smokers and they're cigar aficionados. You know?
Right.
and learning like the details, the nuances of it is really, I developed an appreciation for it. So I love the music. Number 3 for me is probably
Well,
something
before
that,
you go there, guys, if you want you a Dominican woman, I'm gonna tell you, go listen to Gillo Sarante and learn all his stuff and play it. You're about 50% there. They love you.
So as soon as Gillo comes on, everything. You know how they do. Yeah. And number 3 for me is gonna be something that's kind of like trivial. Like you may be like, man, what you talking about? But this is a big thing for me. I love the fact that I can call the Colmado anytime I want, and they'll bring me whatever I want, no matter how big or small. If I say I want 1 aspirin,
in this little coat,
here comes somebody in a little motor coach with 1 aspirin.
Or those little bitty bag of chips.
Look, one bag of chips. Here they come.
Yeah. So guys, if you're on the fence, get off the fence, make a decision. Come over, see if it's for you. If it's not, that's cool. But I'm telling you, you can live a normal life here. You'll love it. So until then, guys, remember, always keep your goals at the forefront of your mind. Always live in the present, because that's the only way you're going to live your best life. And I'm out. Peace.
Je begon aan mijn best life, yeah. Je begon aan mijn best life, yeah. Something you and me, oh. Je begon aan mijn best life, yeah. Jumping, flexing, no.